So I was just thinking about this idea of creating a YouTube channel for my future potential kids. I was reading Ben Sass's book, The Vanishing American Adult, and he was talking about um, what kind of books would you want your child to have read before they leave the house? Is what one of his good friends asked him. And I was like, oh, that's a fantastic question. It's like, what knowledge, what information do I want to impart on my kids before they leave? And then it kind of got me thinking, it's like, well, it's great if I got them to read the books and I had the library and I set that all up and I had this curriculum. But and it kind of got me thinking about homeschooling. It's like, well, it'd be great if I could actually teach my kids myself and had that time. And like right now I'm 28 years old, and so I'm probably about 10 to 12 years out from having kids. It's like, well, what if I could build a curriculum ahead of time? Because when I have kids, it's going to be tough. There's going to be lots of problems. And I was also thinking about this digital age, how it's like I'm kind of addicted to watching Fortnite, and I'm addicted to web surfing and stuff like that. And it's like, I'd much prefer if I was reading more and doing all this kind of stuff. But it's like, I'm going to have to be the representation that... It's like, I'm kind of the model for my kids. It's like, my actions are going to speak far louder than any kind of words or any kind of recommendations I have. And one of the things I really like to do is I like to listen to audio. It's like, while I'm watching Fortnite, I like to listen to John Maxwell or somebody talk about like a cool program or idea. And so I was thinking, like, it'd be really cool if I started creating a video series for my future potential kids. And I taught them the lessons and the ideas that I had and made it short and bite-sized and gave them kind of the information, like the best ideas I have. Because it can be put up for posterity. Like in Ben Sass's book, he was talking again about the Gutenberg press and how it was like the biggest revolution we've ever had. And that we could easily share information, and information used to be very expensive and very locked up, but the Gutenberg press made it inexpensive and it gave it to the whole broad audience. And there became all these changes in religion when the Gutenberg press opened up, because the layperson could actually read the Bible themselves and make their own interpretations rather than having to rely on the clergy. And it makes me think, it's like now, like the modern revolution is video. It's that I can create a video and I post it up and it's basically free, and millions of people can watch it all across the world at no cost, and like the length is basically whatever I want it to be. It's like, wow, that's amazing. Like that could transform the world. And so it just made me think, it's like I could literally start teaching my kids what it is that, like all these lessons, all these ideas I have to impart. And I could talk through my own journey too, because I was also listening to Jim Rohn talk about how to create a journal, how to write in your own journal. And the idea really appeals to me. Like there's something of holding ideas in perpetuity, that it's like you don't let these ideas go. It's like you snapshot them and you record them. But I don't like the idea of recording on paper. It's like I love using my journal to write out my ideas and get them out, kind of like the Harry Potter, where they have the wand up to the head and they pull dreams out and memories out, and they can put it into like the little sink, and then you can see it. And it's like I love doing my writing for that kind of purpose. But I don't really love going back through and reading my lessons and reading my own writing. And I don't know if I'd want to watch my own videos either, because anytime I look back at my past, it's just like, oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm such a klutz, such an idiot, whatever it is. But it'd be a way for me to record and amalgamate my thoughts. And right now what I'm kind of leaning towards is like a 10-minute daily recap of what I've done, what kind of lessons I have, and all these kind of ideas. It's like, I think that'd be short enough that it'd actually be watchable, and then there can be like one kind of lesson that's taught within it that kind of draws you into it. So it's like, what would the lesson I'd want to be or want to have? Well, there's so many lessons I'd like to share. And I guess they don't have to all come at once. But I think like the lesson that's coming to mind right now is the idea of investing in yourself. Investing in your own knowledge base, your own information, your own experiences, your own ideas. So I've been kind of on the self-development journey for the last 10 years now. And it's been a really rocky road. And I racked up a lot of debt, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned a lot as well. And after 10 years of hard work, I'm starting to finally see the benefits and bear the fruit of my labors. And I think back, and it's like, there's lots of times when I was living in the fraternity house that I might hang out with some of the guys, and we'd talk, and they go off to the bar. And instead of me going off to the bar with them, I go down to the basement, and I pull up my laptop, and I listen to Jim Rohn, and I'm painting the basement. The basement was just like this mess. It was like really dirty. It was like cement walls, and all the paint was peeling off and all that kind of stuff. And so I decided that I'm going to fix that. I'm going to make it better. And so I chipped off all the old paint, and so I could get to as solid a base as I could. And then I painted over it. And what happened is that there was water stains that would keep coming through the paint. And so in some places I'd try to put on like 7 or 8 different coats just to cover up those water stains. And it wasn't so much that I necessarily cared about the result, but it was the process of doing it and taking that action that was really transformational. And it was the work process, because what ended up happening is, like, shortly after, maybe before I left, but they basically decided to paint over it with black and red, because that was the fraternity colors, and it looked awful. Red covers terribly for any kind of paint. Like, it's just like the worst paint to use, and it just looked god awful. But at least it had that solid foundation. It had that base. So like the paint wasn't chipping off and all that kind of stuff. So that was at least one problem. Because the color I chose was baby blue, and it wasn't that great. It's probably like something like my shirt, and it kind of looked like a nursery down there. So that wasn't ideal either. But at least I got to that foundation. And so I think back to the last 10 years, and it's like I've built a very solid foundation for my life. I've gone down deep into philosophy, and it's like I'm kind of like a tree that grew out its roots and got them really deep and like made it really strong. And now it's like starting to come out the top. It's that I've invested all this time in my root system and developing my skills and developing my abilities. And now I'm starting to shoot up, and the results are starting to show through. And so what a lot of the friends I saw were doing is they're focused on shooting up and like having the nice car, going out to meet girls at the bar and all this kind of fancy stuff. But they weren't sinking their roots deep enough. And it's like if you shoot up too fast, it's like you're vulnerable to the wind and you're vulnerable to the elements. And it's like it's very easy for you to run out of nutrients, to run out of water, to get knocked over by the elements. And so the lesson that I'd have right now is invest in yourself. It's like if I'm talking to my future son or daughter, it's like invest in your own abilities, invest in your own skills, invest in leadership, like learning how to be a leader. Like read the books and then go out and lead and screw it all up, and then go read the books again and go work at it again, and then do marketing and do sales and learn about health and learn about home improvement and learn about all these different life skills that are going to have so much value, because most of what they teach in school it's never used again. But it's like if you can invest in real world skills, like pay for the books or read the books because I've got them in my library, listen to the videos, all that kind of stuff. It's like put in the work, and your life is going to be so much better and so much more powerful. So yeah, that's what I have, my lesson for today.